My husband Chen Yi is the imperial preceptor of the current dynasty. Whenever he finds me annoying, he turns me into various small animals and tosses me out. Once after he turned me into a kitten and tossed me out, he forgot to bring me back home in time. That day there was a blizzard and I fell into an icy lake and nearly froze to death. His Majesty found me. He held me in his arms, gave me lots of dried fish, and even groomed my fur. When Chen Yi finally remembered me, I shook my head. I am not going back. Being your wife is worse than being His Majesty's cat. Just as he was about to persuade me again, he discovered my physiognomy had changed. I now had the face of an empress who would reign over all on that day of heavy snow. Chen Yi was about to abandon me and rush off to escort Princess Chang'an back to her chambers in order to comfort her after she was frightened by a stray cat. I reached out and tugged at his sleeve. "Husband, I won't allow you to go." Nanny said this is called impropriety between men and women. Chen Yi frowned upon hearing this, looking at me with the kind of gaze one gives an unreasonable child, impatiently saying, "As the imperial preceptor, I should naturally cast a spell to calm the princess's nerves. This is my official duty, stop making a fuss." But I refused to give in recently. He had already stood me up several times because of this princess. I reached out and held him tightly, pleading with him. "Husband, that cat didn't even touch her. So how could she be scared into trembling? She is faking it. You have so many palace maids around. Any of them could accompany her back to the palace. Don't bother with her anymore. Please take me back to the manor." "Okay, I am cold." He was the one who invited me into the palace today to enjoy the snow with the princess. And now he is the one who wants to ditch me and leave with Princess Chang'an. But what am I supposed to do? In this palace, I am a complete stranger with no one to turn to. My hands are frozen stiff. It is getting dark soon, and all I want is to go back home. But there is only one carriage outside the palace gate. If I take the carriage and leave by myself, he'll have to walk back later, so I want to go back with him. Wait here for your husband a moment. I'll take you home shortly." After saying that, as if afraid I'd keep pestering him, he stretched out his right hand and made some hand signs, then turned me into a snow-white little cat, grabbed me and tossed me into the snow. Before leaving, he threw out one line. "Don't wander off. I'll come find you in a bit." Talk about giving your wife the cold shoulder to an entirely new magical extreme. Here we have a husband who is so eager to run off and comfort a scheming, manipulative princess that he literally turns his own wife into a defenseless kitten and abandons her in a blizzard. The suspense here is brilliant. You are left watching this poor, tiny creature shivering in the snow, realizing her husband has completely forgotten her. It perfectly encapsulates the quiet tragedy of being taken for granted, making you desperately root for her to find someone who actually appreciates her. This wasn't the first time he'd turned me into a small animal and ditched me. Sometimes it is a little rabbit, sometimes a little turtle. The palace servants around the princess have seen it so many times they're used to it, treating it as just a little bit of fun between the imperial preceptor and his wife. I used to think this was pretty fun, being a small animal, has its own pleasures. The grass tastes good, and the pond is fun to play in. But this time, I am really cold and just want to go home. Seeing him turn to leave, I reached out my paw trying to grab onto his pant leg, but got kicked away by a palace maid beside the princess. Meow. I was kicked down into the snow, meowing in pain. My left leg especially started throbbing with pain. Be good. Wait for me to come back. But Chen Yi thought I was just acting spoiled, begging him not to leave. Without looking back, he supported the princess and left. Watching his departing figure, I felt a bit sad as I licked my little cat paw, hoping he'd come back soon. The imperial garden, covered in heavy snow, was really cold. After they left, the group of palace maids and eunuchs by the princess's side also left completely. Soon, in the vast imperial garden, Only a hungry and cold me remained. They didn't even leave me a single dried fish. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel somewhat sad. He clearly knew that I was born with one less soul than others, a bit foolish, with a weak body, afraid of cold and prone to illness. Yet he deliberately turned me into a little cat and left me alone in the snow. Does he regret marrying me? I waited and waited in the imperial garden. After the sky gradually darkened, he still didn't come back. It was cold, and this place was very quiet with few people passing by. I was shivering from the cold. There were no palaces around, and in order to wait for him in the same spot, I had nowhere to hide. I could only curl up pitifully by the icy lake. Meow, someone please help me. I am so hungry. Meow, someone please save me. I am so cold. Meow, meow. My left leg suddenly started to hurt. It seemed like that palace maid had just kicked it and broken the bone. I really want to see a doctor. I know the way to the Imperial Medical Institute. I came to the palace several times with my parents before my coming-of-age ceremony. But Chen Yi told me to wait for him here. If I just leave like this when he comes back, will he be able to find me? I paced back and forth anxiously by the lake when I suddenly heard someone in the distance shout, "Is that the national preceptor? Is he leaving the palace?" Another person said, "Look at that hurried figure. Aren't they afraid of falling?" Chen Yi is here. Chen Yi is leaving the palace. Why didn't he come get me? I anxiously quickened my pace to catch up with Chen Yi, hurriedly running in his direction. Suddenly, a bamboo pole appeared behind me. I don't know if it was intentional, but the strike was fast, accurate, and ruthless. With a smack sound, I was knocked into the icy lake. The icy lake had a thin layer of ice. As soon as I thrashed about, the ice surface cracked open. Oh no, someone save me. I am about to fall into the lake. I turned around in a panic, wanting to see who had knocked me into the lake. I could only vaguely make out a pale green palace dress. That person was even more flustered than I was. After doing this bad deed, they threw away the bamboo pole and ran off in a flash. I didn't see clearly who it was at all. I struggled carefully in the icy lake, trying to climb to the shore, but failed several times. One time I even accidentally stepped through the ice layer, creating a big hole, and half my body fell into the water. The lake water at this moment was freezing cold, making me shiver uncontrollably. Meow. Is anyone there? Someone save this cat, no. Save this lady, meow, meow. Husband, are you there? Why didn't you wait for me? Right now, I am just a little cat, no matter how much I cry for help. To others, it is nothing more than the meowing of a stray cat. No one cares. That includes Chen Yi. He seems to have already walked far away. I can't see his silhouette, nor can I hear his voice. I think he really has forgotten about me, even though he was the one who brought me into the palace. As time passed, my two little paws holding onto the ice gradually lost their strength, and my body began to sink bit by bit into the water. I think I might be the first national master's wife in history to drown in a lake in the form of a little cat. Meow. I wailed, thinking that if I somehow survive this, I'll never like Chen Yi again. He is too horrible. I want to divorce him and go back to my parents' home. Even though my father has already died in battle, my mother has already remarried, and there are no more relatives of mine left at the estate. At least staying there, I wouldn't suddenly be turned into a little cat and thrown out in the freezing cold to be left unattended. Meow, meow. I don't want to just die in this lake like this. So just as I was about to completely slide into the water, I screamed with all my might, hoping some kind-hearted passerby might save my little life. Suddenly, I heard the soft sound of footsteps, approaching from far away. An opportunity has come. Meow, meow. I cried out even harder. There seems to be a cat that fell into the lake over there. You guys figure out a way to fish it out. A deep voice sounded from the shore, like heavenly music. Then a very thick wooden stick was handed in front of me. After several attempts, I climbed up along the stick. When I was about to reach the shore, a bright yellow figure came before me. That person reached out and picked me up without the slightest disgust for my soaking wet body. I lifted my head and saw that the person was extremely good-looking, with sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. Add to that the golden dragon robe he was wearing. I was instantly so frightened, I didn't dare move. I was actually being held by His Majesty. I had only seen him from afar a few times before. I sat in a lower seat and didn't dare raise my head, afraid of looking around and embarrassing Chen Yi. He never expected His Majesty to be so good-looking. Seeing me in a daze, he thought I was frozen stiff, and hurriedly removed his cloak to wrap me up in it, then carried me all the way back to the bedchamber. As he walked, he tapped my wet little nose. Such a beautiful little kitty, almost drowned. But you are lucky you ran into me. From now on, you'll stay with me. I'll take you to get warmed up. This is the turning point we all wait for. Enter the Emperor, handsome, powerful, and famously allergic to women. Yet, when he finds our freezing protagonist in her feline form, he doesn't hesitate to wrap her in his own cloak. He feeds her dried fish, builds her a bespoke little bed, and treats her with more tenderness in 5 minutes than her husband did in 3 years. It is a delicious irony. The most powerful man in the empire is effectively brought to his knees by a cute kitten. It is the ultimate fantasy of walking away from someone who treats you like a burden, only to stumble into the arms of someone who treats you like a treasure. After saying that, he called a few eunuchs who were swift on their feet. Go back first and have people heat up the silver thread charcoal and hot water, and tell the imperial kitchen to prepare some milk and dried fish that kittens love to eat. Remember to call the imperial physician to my bedchamber as well, to give the little kitten a thorough examination. In such cold weather, we can't let it develop any lasting ailments. His Majesty found me adorable and cute, and seeing me shivering from the cold, he felt a surge of compassion. He is such a good person. Deeply moved, I stuck out my tongue and licked his hand to express my gratitude. Meow, thank you, Your Majesty. I looked at him with my big, watery eyes, expressing my thanks in the way of a cat. Good little kitten, you won't be cold soon. He reached out and rubbed the smooth white fur on top of my head, carrying me toward the warm sleeping palace. When Chen Yi came out of the palace, he was holding a hand warmer that Princess Chang'an had given him. Although the snow was heavy tonight, the hand warmer was warm in his arms, and with his good constitution, he didn't feel the night was particularly cold. When getting on the carriage, he lifted the curtain and sat right in, saying to the driver, "Let's head straight back to the residence." The driver hesitated for a moment, and seeing no sign of me around, couldn't help but ask him, "My lord, what about the madam?" Before he could finish speaking, a young palace maid hurriedly chased out from the palace and said to Chen Yi on the carriage, "Master Imperial Preceptor, right after you left, the princess had a nightmare. I heard that young Master Chen has a cinnabar bracelet gifted by an enlightened monk that can ward off evil spirits and calm the mind. You are on good terms with young Master Chen. Could you help go to young Master Chen's residence and borrow it from him? Once you've borrowed it, this servant will wait by the dog hole near the palace wall for you to pass it in, so the princess should be able to sleep well tonight." Despite how troublesome this matter was, Chen Yi agreed immediately. He said, "Since it is the princess's request, I shall naturally do my utmost to handle it." Then he ordered the coachman to immediately drive the carriage to the Chen residence. The coachman had just opened his mouth, wanting to mention me, when he was cut off by his sharp glare. "Why are you still standing there in a daze? The princess's condition cannot be delayed." The coachman had no choice but to shut his mouth. "Yes, At this moment, in order to let Princess Chang'an sleep well tonight, he anxiously rushed to the Chen residence, completely forgetting that I, his wife, was still left behind in the palace. After he made the round trip and passed the cinnabar bracelet to the palace maid through the dog hole, he only felt that the wind at night had grown stronger. The accumulated snow by the wall had grown thicker, and it was time to return to the residence. As he was about to get back on the carriage, the coachman wanted to call out to him again, but looking at the tightly closed palace gates, the coachman thought that even if he reminded the imperial preceptor now, his wife would no longer be able to leave the palace. It would only add to the imperial preceptor's troubles. Or perhaps his wife had been kept in the palace today for some reason. Who knows? The coachman decided not to be nosy and ask more questions. He just wanted to hurry back home, hold his own wife, and warm up on the Kang. Along the way, goose-feather like snow fell in flurries. Chen Yi leaned back in the carriage, lifted the curtain with his hand out of boredom to look outside, and just felt that tonight's snow was really heavy. He vaguely remembered that he seemed to have forgotten something. His heart always felt a bit empty, but what exactly was it? He couldn't remember clearly. At this moment, his mind was filled with the image of Princess Chang'an holding his hand, pitifully begging him. She said, "Brother Ayai, please help me beg the Empress Dowager. I don't want to marry off to a foreign land. I want to be with you." He sighed and refused. The matter of the marriage alliance was decreed by His Majesty and the Empress Dowager. He had no say in it. So Princess Chang'an begged him again. "In these 2 months before I am married off to a distant land, can you be closer to me? I don't ask for forever. I only ask to monopolize you for 2 months." He didn't agree, but he didn't refuse either. He hoped that Princess Chang'an could be happy in the next 2 months, but he was a married man. If he had intimate relations with Princess Chang'an, he wouldn't be able to face his deceased father-in-law. He had sworn before my father's memorial tablet that he would never take a concubine for his entire life, that he would just stay with me and live a good life, or else he'd be struck by lightning and die a terrible death. So he remained silent. But when he heard that the princess needed a cinnabar bracelet, he couldn't help but borrow one for her. A brazier of silver thread charcoal was burning in His Majesty's bedchamber, making it very warm. Originally trembling all over from the cold, after being placed by the brazier for a little while, I felt my shaking wasn't so severe anymore. Seeing that I was better, His Majesty had someone bring a basin of hot water and gently placed me in it. He said, "You have quite a bit of lake mud and water plants on you. They need to be washed clean so you'll be comfortable." Although I had a cat's body, in my heart I was still a young woman, and I was already married. How could I let him bathe me? Frightened, I struggled frantically in the basin, splashing water all over him. Seeing this, the eunuchs all stepped forward. "Your Majesty, this rough work, let us servants do it." But His Majesty wasn't annoyed. He grabbed my front paws and examined me carefully with a beaming smile. "No, I like this little cat. I'll do it myself." As soon as he finished speaking, I immediately protested with meowing sounds. "Meow, I don't want you to wash me. Good girl. Are you hungry? Here is some dried fish for you." After His Majesty finished speaking, he directly picked the biggest dried fish from the plate and stuffed it into my mouth, and then I couldn't speak anymore. "Chew, chew, chew. It is kind of tasty. Chew more. Chew, chew." My eyes lit up. "It is really delicious. I am a cat now. How could I possibly resist dried fish?" So I didn't have time to care about who was bathing me, only focused on eating. He washed and scrubbed me thoroughly all over, with my belly empty and flat. I took the opportunity to eat 3 dried fish, then my little throat tightened. Meow. More, not full yet. After His Majesty wiped me clean all over, he smiled and tapped my nose. Little glutton. Then he had someone bring a small bowl of warm porridge. he said. Eating only fish is too dry. Drink some porridge. I'll give you 2 more dried fish later. That makes sense. I nestled comfortably in his arms, letting him hold me by the charcoal fire to warm up, while feeding me porridge spoonful by spoonful. The hot porridge had shredded chicken added to it. The moment I drank it, my eyes lit up again, delicious. After I finished gulping down that small bowl of porridge, the imperial physician arrived too. After the imperial physician examined me, he stuffed a few pills for treating cold exposure into my mouth, then said to His Majesty, "The cold exposure isn't the most pressing issue. This little cat's left leg has a serious injury. It needs bone setting, then immobilization, then medicine before it can fully recover." His Majesty didn't expect that I had actually suffered such a serious injury. He is a kind-hearted good person. He didn't hesitate, nor did he mind that my leg was injured. He said to the imperial physician, "Do everything you can to heal it." When the imperial physician was treating my wound, it hurt so bad several times that I kept twitching. His Majesty helped hold my leg steady while gently coaxing me in a soft voice. "Good little kitty, it won't hurt in a moment. As long as you don't fuss or make noise, I'll reward you with another dried fish." Listening to his gentle voice, I gradually calmed down, rested my head on his leg, and smelling the pleasant ambergris scent on him, I actually fell asleep. When I woke up, my wound had already been bandaged and secured. Although it still hurt when I moved, it was already much better than last night. I slightly lifted my head, and then my eyes met with His Majesty's, who had just woken up. He rubbed his sleepy eyes and smiled at me in good spirits. "Morning, little white cat. So I actually slept on His Majesty's dragon bed last night." I shuddered with alarm, almost scared enough to fall off the bed. I am a married woman, isn't it? Kind of inappropriate to sleep in His Majesty's bed. He reached out and caught me with quick reflexes. "Slow down, your injury hasn't healed yet." Meow. I pointed at the floor of the room with my little paw, indicating to him that I'd be fine sleeping on the floor. "You want to sleep on the floor, but the floor is cold. Last night I ordered craftsmen to make you an exclusive little wooden bed today, and also had the Imperial Weaving Bureau make you a soft little quilt. Once they're ready, you'll sleep there. Until then, you'll just have to squeeze in with me. An exclusive little bed. I want it." The kitty nodded and licked her paw, by the way. Meow. "So you agree." I asked the steward of the Imperial Garden, and they all said they'd never seen you. So you are probably a stray cat, since you didn't have an owner before. From now on, you'll be my imperial cat. I need to give you a name. How about calling you Nuomi? Meow. No way. I shook my head vigorously. I lightly scratched his palm. I have a name and surname. I am called Song Nuan, the only daughter of the Song family, the wife of Imperial Preceptor Chen Yi. Although it seems Chen Yi doesn't want me anymore. You don't like this name. Then what do you like? His Majesty seemed to understand what I meant. He thought to himself, this really is a clever little cat, so intuitive to human nature. He pointed at the pastries on the table, then at the winter sweet by the window. Do you want to be called milk cake, or do you want to be called little plum? Or perhaps, he pointed at several sesame-filled pastries on the table. Sesame cake. Then I'll go with milk cake after all. I resignedly pointed at the milk cake on the table. Meow. That is the one. And so I, Song Nuan, legitimate daughter of a great general and wife of the national preceptor, gained a new name, Milk Cake. His Majesty is resting at home again today, holding me and repeatedly calling my new name with endless affection. Milk Cake, eat slowly. I won't fight you for it. Milk Cake, no picky eating. You need to eat some liver, can't just eat dried fish. Milk Cake, are you cold? Milk Cake. Let me check if you are a tomcat or a female cat. I'll have the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau make you a whole chest of winter clothes so you can change into different ones. Meow, don't come over. I slapped my paw on his face, trying to block his prying gaze, but alas, I was powerless. With a flip of his large hand, he turned me right over, then frowned slightly. You eat so much, yet you are actually a female cat, an emperor, and he is complaining that I eat too much. Somewhat angrily, I rolled over and ignored him unless he gives me 2 more dried fish. Mad now. What a temperamental little cat. But you can't have any more dried fish. I'll treat you to some milk instead. After His Majesty finished speaking, he had someone bring a small bowl of milk. Milk, this is good stuff. Back when I was at the National Preceptor's residence, I loved drinking milk too. But Chen Yi didn't like it, said he found the fishy smell of milk disgusting, so later the kitchen rarely made milk anymore. I instantly stopped being angry and started gulping it down. After I finished drinking, His Majesty stroked my smooth fur and said, "What a delicate little cat." While he was reviewing memorials, I didn't make a fuss or noise, just lay by the window gazing blankly at the snowy scene outside, suddenly thinking of Chen Yi. After he returned to the manor last night, would he have discovered that I was left behind in the palace? Would he come to the imperial garden in the palace today to look for me? Would he feel guilty upon learning that I nearly died in the icy lake yesterday? Thinking about it, my mood sank, and I started meowing softly. Meow, meow. His Majesty was so bothered by me that he lost interest in reviewing memorials. He stood up and came to the window, picking me up. Milk cake. Do you want to go out and play? I'll take you to play in the snow, but it is too cold, so we can only play for a little while. His Majesty is truly a very gentle person, and moreover, he keeps his word. He accompanied me playing in the snow for quite a while before carrying me back to the sleeping palace. Unlike Chen Yi, who said he'd go fishing with me in the suburbs, but then ran off to buy storybooks for Princess Chang'an because of one word from her said, he'd give me a hairpin, but turned around and that hairpin ended up on Princess Chang'an's head. The one who said he'd consummate our marriage was him, and the one who said he'd wait until after the princess married far away before consummating our marriage was still him. Yes, in the 3 years since we got married, we've never consummated our marriage. We're just husband and wife in name only. The maids at the estate gossiped about this, saying he refused to consummate the marriage because he looked down on me for missing a soul, making me a bit slow-witted. It was precisely because I heard those words that I clung to him even more tightly, always wanting him to spend more time with me. But he only grew to dislike me more. Chen Yi always slept in a separate room from me, so even when he woke up in the morning, he hadn't realized that he had abandoned me in the palace for an entire night. It was only during breakfast when the butler asked him, "Why hasn't Madam come for breakfast? Is she still not up? Did she fall ill again last night?" The butler was shocked. "Madam didn't come back with you last night." Only then did Chen Yi remember that yesterday he found me unreasonable and annoying with my pestering, so he turned me into a little cat and tossed me in the imperial garden, completely forgetting to retrieve me. Remembering that I was naturally frail and prone to crying, he hurriedly called for someone to prepare the carriage. "Prepare the carriage, I need to enter the palace immediately." However, just as he reached the palace gate, he ran into Princess Chang'an's carriage. The princess was going to stay at the hot spring estate outside the city and asked if he could escort her. Chen Yi hesitated. "But I left my wife in the palace. I need to go find her now." Princess Chang'an saw his hesitation and said to him, "Brother Yi, sister Xiaonuan is in the palace. The palace is heavily guarded, even if she is turned into a cat. No one would dare lay a hand on her. She'll be fine. If you are worried, I'll send someone back to the palace right now to find her and safely escort her back to the imperial preceptor's residence. Then would you still be willing to take me outside the city? I just want to see you a few more times before the marriage alliance, to ease my longing. I am begging you." Tears streaming down her face, she looked up at him with an aggrieved expression, her face full of adoration. Chen Yi's heart softened after all. He said, "All right, I'll go with you. But you must remember to have someone find my wife and send her back to the imperial preceptor's residence." Princess Chang'an nodded and said to him, "Brother Yi, can't you trust me to handle things?" After saying this, she gestured for an accompanying palace maid to return to the palace. "Go back to the palace right now and search carefully for the imperial preceptor's wife who has turned into a white cat." How could the palace maid not understand her meaning? She bowed and curtsied. "This servant will go search right away. If found, kill it on the spot. After all, it is just a cat that dies, and she could gain the princess's trust and favor because of it. If not found, and I manage to dodge this disaster by luck, then I am fortunate. But in such freezing cold weather, my days as a cat probably won't be easy either." I stayed in the palace eating and drinking, well until the third day, when someone reported that Chen Yi was accompanying the princess to request an audience with His Majesty. If this person hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten about Chen Yi. Being His Majesty's cat is just too damn comfortable. The dried fish is fed to my mouth every time. When I wake up, someone dresses me and puts accessories on me. I even have my own special little bed. The charcoal fire is an endless supply of silver thread charcoal, and whenever His Majesty has free time, he plays with me and strokes my fur. I don't even have to be forced to recite books or be restricted by the imperial preceptor's household rules about when to wake up and when to sleep. Who says being an animal is bad? Being His Majesty's little cat is way more interesting than being the imperial preceptor's wife. Meow! I suddenly don't really want to see Chen Yi anymore. I am not that excited about him coming to take me home. I limped down from His Majesty's knee, about to find a corner to hide in. "Ni Ru Gao, be good. Let Jen pet you a bit more." His Majesty was getting addicted to petting me and wasn't about to let me go. He picked me up and placed me on the desk. This man doesn't get close to women. Whenever a woman touches him, he immediately breaks out in allergic rashes all over, so the harem still has no consorts to this day. Everyone around him is eunuchs and guards. His days are incredibly boring. No, he just happened to pick up a little cat like me who is white, well-behaved, and knows how to act cute. So naturally he can't bear to put me down. When I was human, Chen Yi thought I was stupid. But when I am a cat, His Majesty finds me cute and spirited. Clearly, I am quite suited to being a cat. Meow. I don't want to. I was just about to run again when he grabbed me and stuffed a piece of chestnut cake into my mouth. "Eat before you run. This whole plate is yours." The chestnut cake was sweet, soft, and melted in my mouth. So I stopped my escape, but I didn't want to see Chen Yi. So I turned around, using my back to face Chen Yi and Princess Chang'an, who came for the audience. His Majesty stroked me while looking at the two who came together with some confusion. "How did you two come together?" "The princess is about to marry far away for the alliance. And National Master, you already have a wife. You should avoid suspicion." Upon hearing this, Princess Chang'an knelt directly on the ground and said to His Majesty, "Imperial brother, after leaving the capital the other day, I was drugged by villains and nearly lost my chastity. Fortunately, the National Master saved me, and we have already consummated our relationship. Now that I have been defiled, I am really not suitable for marrying far away for the alliance. As for the candidate for the alliance marriage, you and Mother Empress should choose someone else." Chen Yi also knelt down. "I beg your Majesty to bestow the princess upon me as an equal wife." Clang. I was so shocked by what I heard that I accidentally knocked over the inkstone on the table, spilling thick black ink everywhere. So Chen Yi has been married for 3 years but never touched me. Yet he actually consummated with Princess Chang'an and now wants to marry her as an equal wife. Then what the hell kind of National Master's wife am I? Ah, this is His Majesty's favorite inkstone. How did it break? This cat is so careless. A eunuch nearby immediately picked up the inkstone that had shattered in two on the ground, glaring at me with a regretful look. It is fine, milk cake, don't be scared. It is just an inkstone. His Majesty waved his hand dismissively, not caring much, and good-naturedly told the eunuch to quickly clean up the mess on the ground. He then had someone bring a cloth and carefully wiped my paws, cleaning off the ink bit by bit. Then he called for hot water to be brought, washed my paws, dried them, deliberately leaving those two people kneeling on the ground. He didn't say he agreed, nor did he say he disagreed. He just let them kneel like that. After about half a shikan, Princess Chang'an finally couldn't kneel anymore. She tremblingly crawled to His Majesty's side, kowtowing while pleading, "Imperial brother, I beg you, I really don't want to go for the marriage alliance." This was probably the real reason she had been getting close to Chen Yi all along. She wanted to use this to escape the marriage alliance. Chen Yi also kowtowed. "I beg your Majesty to grant our wish. From now on, this subject will definitely serve your Majesty with utmost loyalty unto death." Only then did His Majesty raise his head, frowning with displeasure, as he waved his hand, signaling them to get up, get up. However, this was only the beginning, not the end. When the Son of Heaven is enraged, it won't end just like that. His Majesty called for someone to summon the Empress Dowager, as well as the old state preceptor. The weather's cold and the roads are slippery, so they're coming slowly. I estimate it'll be a little while before they arrive. His Majesty ordered the two to kneel outside the door and endure the cold wind, saying coldly, "Each one of you is so audacious. All of you go kneel outside in the snow and clear your heads." These two had caused such a monumental disaster, yet their first reaction wasn't to come and beg for forgiveness. They actually dared to request a marriage decree. It is probably because I've been too lenient with them before. The two didn't dare say more and obediently knelt down in the snow outside the door. Only now did they realize how frightened they should be. His Majesty's angry appearance was truly terrifying. His Majesty forbade anyone from holding umbrellas for them or pleading on their behalf. The biting cold wind soon made both of them tremble uncontrollably. I watched from the window, feeling quite satisfied. They all bullied me, and now it is finally their turn to freeze in the snow. Serves them right. About another half hour passed, and both the Empress Dowager and the old imperial preceptor, who had long since stopped attending court, arrived. The Empress Dowager said, back then, she was just a minor daughter of Ava Corporation. To be established as a princess, she voluntarily stepped forward and expressed willingness to marry into the neighboring country. That neighboring country's prince was talented and good-looking with immeasurable prospects. This was originally a good marriage. For the sake of my natal brother, the Empress Dowager nodded and agreed to accept her as an adopted daughter, giving her such a fine marriage match. After she entered the palace, the Empress Dowager also doted on her and was quite tolerant. Since she is so ungrateful, strip her of her princess title, demote her to commoner status, and replace the marriage alliance princess with someone else. And so Princess Chang'an had all the jeweled ornaments torn from her hair and all her fine garments stripped away in front of everyone. She fell wretchedly into the snow. From this moment on, she was no longer a princess, not even a concubine's daughter of the national uncle's household, just a commoner, Ava Corporation. The old imperial preceptor looked at Chen Yi with deep disappointment. Didn't I tell you? You have a calamity in your fate before turning 25. You absolutely must not sleep with a woman, or your future will be completely ruined. Why didn't you listen? Chen Yi was stunned. The woman you mentioned was at Ava Corporation. I always thought it was Song Nuan. So this was the reason he refused to sleep with me all these years. He thought I was the calamity in his fate. So after we married, he never touched me. He thought he could successfully avoid disaster this way, but never expected that in the end, he still broke his vow under Ava Corporation's seduction. The old imperial preceptor sighed. I don't have a shameless disciple like you. From today onward, you are no longer my student. Move out of the imperial preceptor's residence immediately. I will pass the position of imperial preceptor to your junior brother, Zi Heng. With one sentence from the old imperial preceptor, he lost everything. Chen Yi was now filled with regret, but it was too late. He knelt in the snow alongside Ava Corporation, constantly kowtowing to His Majesty. We were wrong. We beg your Majesty's mercy. Please don't demote us to commoner status. His Majesty held me in his arms, looking down at them coldly from above. Merely demoting you to commoners is already letting you off easy. Illicit union without matchmaker, sabotaging the marriage alliance, disregarding the law, each and every one of these offences is enough to have you exiled to the frontier as slaves. Get lost. Chen Yi sighed, helped Ava Corporation up, and was about to leave resignedly when he suddenly caught sight of the white cat in His Majesty's arms. Your Majesty, the white cat in your hands is my wife transformed. I beg your Majesty to return her to this guilty subject. This guilty subject wants to take her home. His Majesty looked at Chen Yi, then glanced at the docile white cat in his hands, a trace of disbelief in his eyes. It is your wife, Chen Yi nodded, gesturing for His Majesty to place me on the ground. Then he stretched out his hand to form a seal, silently chanting for a moment, and a miraculous scene occurred. I gradually transformed from a snow-white little cat into a naive and adorable woman, having just turned back into a human. I was still somewhat unadapted. Dragging my fractured leg, I struggled to stand up, to avoid falling. I instinctively placed my hand on the person beside me. Excuse me, help me up. Little did I know, the people around me all gasped in shock when they saw my action clearly. The person beside me was none other than His Majesty, who avoided women and would break out in red rashes all over his body if touched by a woman. They thought I was done for. They thought I had outrageous audacity. But in fact, I've just been bossing His Majesty around recently and got used to it, so I couldn't change my ways for a moment. Under everyone's astonished gazes, His Majesty reached out to help me up, even wearing a smile on his face. All right, milk cake. The fragrant and soft milk cake, even after becoming a woman's form, was still fragrant and soft, not making him feel disgusted at all. Even if it caused him to break out in red rashes all over, he'd accept it. However, the next moment he discovered he was still perfectly fine. After touching me, no red rashes appeared on his body, nor did he feel any discomfort anywhere. Could it be that he could now have physical contact with women? He said to a palace maid nearby, "Come here, touch my hand." The maid only lightly touched the back of his hand with her fingertips, and that familiar feeling came back. He felt itchy all over, and after scratching, a large patch of red rashes immediately appeared on his arm. It seemed his symptoms hadn't lessened at all. It was just that when it came to me, it was different. After realizing this, His Majesty's gaze toward me became even more tender. He thought his gynophobia had finally found its antidote. On the other side, Chen Yi stared at my fractured leg, frowning. He stepped forward, wanting to help me. "What happened to your leg? How could you let His Majesty support you? You are a married woman. You should know the principle that men and women shouldn't have physical contact. Your husband will help you back. Don't be naughty and run around anymore, making people search for you. I almost died in the Imperial Garden because of him, and he is still scolding me. He is the one who shamelessly hooked up with Ava Corporation without a matchmaker, yet he has the nerve to turn around and blame me. Just thinking about how he and Ava Corporation have already consummated their marriage makes me feel so disgusted with him. I don't want his help. I don't want him anymore." I reached out and forcefully slapped his hand away. All the grievances from these past days suddenly surged to my heart. I stopped calling him husband with reddened eyes. I said to him, "Chen Yi, don't come near me. When you turned me into a cat and abandoned me in the imperial garden, did you ever think about what situation I'd be in? Do you know that on that cold night, I had my leg broken by a kick from Ava Corporation's maid and was beaten into the icy lake with a stick, nearly dying in that frozen lake? And when you left the palace, you didn't even take me with you. You never asked about me or cared at all. I am done with you. I don't want to go back with you and be your wife. I'd rather be His Majesty's cat. I want to be His Majesty's cat." Oh, the absolute satisfaction of this scene. The toxic ex finally realizes his mistake, having been stripped of his title and discovering his wife's true worth. He demands her back, expecting her to simply fall into line. Instead, she regains her human form right in front of the emperor and publicly rejects the man who abandoned her. She doesn't scream or plot a complicated revenge. She simply states her boundaries. She would rather be a pet to a kind man than a wife to a cruel one. It's a mic drop moment that leaves the ex utterly ruined by his own hubris. "You were kicked and injured by someone, and even beaten into the icy lake." His Majesty immediately flew into a rage. He said, "How could such an adorable little cat get injured out of nowhere and fall into the icy lake, nearly drowning to death? Turns out it was harmed by someone. No, it is crystal clear who harmed me. Only if I die can Ava Corporation become Chen Yi's legitimate wife." What a black-hearted scheme. His Majesty ordered a thorough investigation, starting with the maids around Ava Corporation. "Good child, you've suffered so much. If you don't want to return to the Chen family, then don't. I grant you both a divorce." After hearing everything, the Empress Dowager held my hand with a face full of guilt. If she hadn't been too indulgent toward Ava Corporation, how would I have suffered this undeserved disaster? "Thank you, Empress Dowager. Being able to divorce is wonderful." I hurriedly knelt down to express my gratitude. The way Chen Yi has treated me, I don't want him anymore. No divorce. This guilty subject doesn't want to divorce Song Nuan. She is my wife. Chen Yi reacted very strongly. After he became the imperial preceptor, he started to feel I wasn't good enough for him and despised me for missing one soul. But now he has nothing left. The only thing he can rely on is my generous dowry and the general's mansion that belongs to me. He had originally planned that after being demoted to commoner status, he could follow me back to live at the general's mansion. If I divorce him, he'll truly have nothing left. Not only did you fornicate with Ava Corporation, you nearly caused her to die miserably. There is no husband as vicious as this in the world. Whether you agree or not, you must divorce, or I will have her repudiate you." The Empress Dowager was also angered by his failure to appreciate her kindness. This guilty subject admits his mistake. This guilty subject agrees to the divorce. Divorce is still better than being repudiated. Chen Yi could only agree through gritted teeth. His Majesty ordered people to investigate who broke my leg and who struck me into the icy lake. After a severe interrogation, the palace maids around Ava Corporation all confessed. It was she who ordered people to stomp and break my leg, and it was she who ordered people to push me into the icy lake to take my life. Even later, when Chen Yi told her to send someone to the imperial garden to find me, that palace maid went there carrying a club. Fortunately, I was saved by His Majesty, so that palace maid couldn't succeed. Ava Corporation's crimes were heinous. With multiple offenses combined, His Majesty sentenced her immediate execution. Chen Yi wanted to plead for her, but on second thought, he realized that the reason he had fallen to such a state was all because of Ava Corporation's scheming and instigation. If Ava Corporation hadn't pretended to be sick and pitiful, he wouldn't have abandoned me again and again, leading to me being found by His Majesty and everything being exposed. In the end, Chen Yi didn't plead for her. He just stared at me fixedly. "Wife, do you really want to divorce your husband? Our 3 years of marital bond?" I nodded very straightforwardly. "Yes, I want a divorce. You bullied me for being foolish, so I won't be your wife anymore." After saying that, I took off the token the Chen family gave me when our 2 families arranged the engagement, that jade pendant hanging on a red string from around my neck, and tossed it back to him. "Here, take it back." Chen Yi wanted to persuade me further, but suddenly stopped talking. He discovered that in that very instant, my face reading had changed. They say fortune tellers can't read their own fortunes. So for a long time, when he looked at my face reading, he could only see a hazy white fog. And now this fog dissipated as the jade pendant was removed. My facial features became incredibly clear at this moment. Phoenix eyes, a full forehead, a plump and rounded chin. This was the face of an empress who would be the mother of the nation. No wonder after he married me, he was appreciated by his master and rose through the ranks step by step. He thought it was all because he was so capable, but now thinking about it, so much of it was because I brought him good fortune as his wife. Right now he was filled with regret. He shouldn't have lost me. Too bad. It was too late for his regrets, because I held His Majesty's hand and said to him, "Your Majesty, can you have the old imperial preceptor turn me back into a cat? I want to be your Majesty's cat for the rest of my life." His Majesty smiled and reached out to tap my nose. "Sure, when you want to be a cat, I'll have the old imperial preceptor turn you into a cat. When you don't want to be a cat, you can be my empress. Be the empress, as long as I can still be his little cat. That seems fine." I nodded. That works too. But I want to be a little cat for 2 months first. I haven't had enough dried fish yet. Being a cat means no learning rules, no early mornings, and someone to pet my fur. It is just too perfect for me. His Majesty laughed. "Whatever the Empress wants." Later, I was His Majesty's little cat for 2 months. After I got tired of being a cat, I married him and was Empress for a few months. Then I discovered being Empress was too exhausting. I went to find the old imperial preceptor. "Old imperial preceptor, hurry and turn me into a cat. I want to be a little cat for another 2 months." The old imperial preceptor smiled and agreed. "All right, in 9 months." I asked him, "Why do we have to wait that long?" The old imperial preceptor said, "Because you are already carrying His Majesty's heir in your belly. You can't become a cat, fine." So I became a human again for 9 months, and 9 months later, I gave birth to a little prince. After finishing my postpartum confinement, I immediately went to find the imperial preceptor. "Can I be a cat now?" The old imperial preceptor agreed. So that night, when His Majesty excitedly arrived at the Empress's bedchamber, he saw only the little crown prince in swaddling clothes and a little white cat playing with him using her tail. His Majesty sighed, resignedly picking up the little crown prince with one hand while reaching out to pet me with the other. "Empress, as long as you are happy." My response was to roll over and snuggle against his leg affectionately. "Meow. Pet me more. This palace mistress likes it." After Chen Yi ended up on the streets, he could only return to his old trade, setting up a fortune-telling stall. You know what? His readings were quite accurate, but the money he earned was barely enough for sustenance, because the old imperial preceptor had already expelled him from the sect, and he had offended His Majesty. Slightly wealthier families, fearing they would offend the old imperial preceptor, and His Majesty wouldn't seek him out for fortune-telling. He could only earn meager amounts of money. One day, he looked toward the direction of the palace and saw red light filling the sky, so he calculated with his fingers. The next imperial star had been born. That child came from my womb. After finishing his calculation, Chen Yi felt somewhat dejected. If he hadn't been seduced by Ava Corporation, this next imperial star could very well have been his child with me, ruined. Everything had been ruined by Ava Corporation. But his regret was useless. Ava Corporation had already been executed, and he himself had no hope for an official career. He could only muddle through the rest of his life like this, like a walking corpse. If I were to distill the absolute essence of this delightful saga, I would give you two phrases: the courage to upgrade and karmic reversal. At its core, this isn't just a fantasy about turning into a cat. It's about the courage to upgrade. Song Nuan realizes that her loyalty was being wasted on a man who saw her as an embarrassing nuisance. When she finally experiences true care, even in the form of milk and dried fish, she refuses to settle for less ever again. She learns her own worth. It also serves us a gorgeous platter of karmic reversal. The story brilliantly shows that those who ruthlessly discard the people who love them will eventually find themselves with absolutely nothing. Chen Yi ends up a penniless fortune teller, whilst the woman he deemed foolish becomes the empress of the realm. Its poetic justice served perfectly chilled. Now, my lovelies, whilst I can't promise that ditching a toxic ex will magically turn you into a pampered royal feline, I can promise that knowing your worth is the first step to a much happier life. If you enjoyed this tale of snowy rescues, sweet revenge, and an abundance of dried fish, do be an absolute darling and click that subscribe button. Leave a like to claim your own bit of good karma today. And do tell me in the comments, if you were given the choice, would you rather rule an empire with all its stressful politics, or spend your days as a blissfully pampered house cat with a limitless supply of treats? Let's have a bit of fun in the comments below. Would you like me to find another story about brilliant women turning the tables on dreadful men for our next session? Until then, keep your standards high and never let anyone treat you like an afterthought. Ta-ra.